Hi everyone, it's Grace Kelmer and welcome back to Mendel Center Connections. It is Monday, May 11th, and I am here today with Chad Dee of the Fab Lab at Lake Michigan College. But before we get started with that, I know we've been asking people to send in their Mendel Center Connections artwork of whatever kind that might be, and we do have one to share today. So here's the one we got in recently. Hopefully you can see that. It's very cool. Mendel Center Connections. It's a stage, and I don't know if you can see in there. We've got a little state of Michigan in the background. So very cool. Thank you very much to Rich from Ohio for sending that in to us. So if anyone out there wants to put their creative juices to use during this time and paint, draw, doodle, use your computer, do some digital art, whatever you want to do, you can send that to the box office at lakemichigancollege.edu. Or you can share it on our Facebook page and we'll put it up for you on the next video. So now let me introduce Chad Dee. And could you talk a little bit first just about what you do at the Fab Lab?
Sure. My name is Chad. I'm the director of the Hanson Technology Center, and the Fab Lab is an open access digital fabrication studio where community members, staff, faculty, students of Lake Michigan College, anybody that's in the community can come in and they can make just about anything. It starts with prototyping some sort of a design and then using the equipment that we have in the lab to make that design into a reality. Some of the equipment that we have is a shop bot. We've got 3D printers. We have laser cutters and engravers, vinyl cutters, all kinds of sewing machines, and also some mini lathes for wood turning.
Cool. And you said that anyone in the community can do things at the Fab Lab. What are the ways that they would get involved once we're back to the normal in-person times?
Yes, anybody is able to come in and basically they can work with a tech to make their design idea into a reality, and then they can actually then run the equipment. We'll teach you the equipment. The equipment really doesn't take that long to learn. The goal is to get you on there as safely and as quickly as possible, but then we also have the techs there to help you along with your project if you need help.
Cool. Yeah, I've done a few things at the Fab Lab since you guys opened a few years ago. I think I did a wood turning class to make a wooden pen, and I took the intro to 3D printing class and made a cookie cutter. Just kind of those, like you were saying, some of those basic projects just to make sure that you understand the equipment and can run it safely. And
yeah, there's a lot of websites that are out there that have open source files on there. So even if you don't have a project in mind, you can come in and do something else and then kind of learn how to manipulate the file and how to make the file your own to actually make it do what it is that you want it to do.
And don't you have access to the Adobe Creative Suite in there as well if you want to come in and use that software?
Yes, there's Illustrator, there's InDesign, the entire Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Creative Suite is available and to anybody who would like to use it. And right now we don't charge for that. So that's another good perk.
Yeah, that's an incredible that's an incredible offering there. You can really take something from start to finish and to have the help there as well to make sure you're doing it safely. That's really cool. So right now, obviously things are a little bit different, but you do still have all of that equipment there. And because we both work at the college, I'm well aware of the cool things you've been doing. Can you talk a little bit about what you've been making the last few weeks?
Sure. Well, I've been, all the Fab Labs are kind of connected in some way, shape, or form. And when this whole COVID-19 thing started, we were looking at what different Fab Labs were doing in different maker spaces. And over a course of one weekend, we were trying to figure out a couple different things. We were trying to figure out what materials we had. We were trying to figure out what the community could actually use. And we were trying to figure out what we could actually sustain and make something that people would actually benefit from using. So we were trying to figure everything out in one 6-hour day, and that didn't work so well at first. But when we started to look at face shields, and we were seeing that this was happening pretty much all over the world. And somebody, I don't even know who it was, created a couple different files for it. So we took one and we started 3D printing the actual visor of a face shield. And actually,
like the part across the top that goes around your forehead just to
so it's this guy right here.
Okay.
when we were 3D printing them, we realized that it took about 75 minutes for each shield or each visor to be created.
Wow.
And as we were about 3 hours in, one of my techs looked at me and said, "Why can't we laser cut these?" I don't know, why can't we? So we were trying to figure out what we could actually laser cut, and we ended up with, oh, and I just broke it, an acrylic that we could then laser cut. So we ended up with something like this, and this took about 2 minutes compared to the 75 minutes. And started making a couple of phone calls to see where we got the initial acrylic. And a friend of the Fab Lab said, "I've got 8 or 9 4x8 sheets of it," and said basically, "Do you want it? You can have it." And he threw it in his truck, and he came over and donated about $1,000 worth of acrylic, which was beyond generous.
Wow.
And that's how this whole thing started. We started with the face shields. The shields then kind of turned into the masks, and so we started making masks as well.
Because you have sewing machines there too.
Correct. We've got about 4 different versions of sewing machines, so we started using those to make the masks. And then once everything kind of evolved where it's kind of mandated that most people wear a mask when you're in a public space now, what we found, especially from our nurse friends, is that they were hurting the back of the ears as you had to wear them, all day, every day. So we found this, which was an ear saver. And this actually attaches to the elastic. You put it on the back of your head or the back of your neck, and it actually alleviates the stress from the elastic or from the mask from your ears. So it kind of, one project morphed into another project, which then morphed into another project. And I'm kind of looking forward to see what's going to happen in a couple of weeks when I'm sure we'll have something else.
There'll be something else, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is yet.
So right now, how are you distributing those? Are they going to individuals or businesses or direct to hospitals, or what are you doing?
Both. So depending upon what it is, so far we've given away almost 1,900 of the face shields. We've only given away a little over 50 of the masks, and that's just because there was like an elastic shortage. Because again, everybody started doing it, and finding elastic was just impossible to do. Michael's didn't have it, Joann's didn't have it. We were trying to space our orders on Amazon, and of course, it didn't work that way, and everything came in all at the same time. So we're in the process of doing all of those right now. The ear savers, we're doing a very pliable plastic for it, and we've given away over 1,000 of these already. And really what it's been is I just put a call out on our Facebook page and basically said, if you want them, let us know. And we've had organizations that have called or emailed us and said, we're looking for 25, we're looking for 50, we're looking for 10. And we've had individuals that just have shown up and said, "Hey, I'd like 3 for my, for my kids." And so we're trying to accommodate always. For the ear savers, we've really just been putting it out there on Facebook and saying, "Hey, here's your time slot. If you're an individual and you just want up to 4 of them, drive through at this time," and it looks like a little drive through of a fast food restaurant. It's kind of fun. And if it's an organization, we're doing that a little differently. We're emailing them certain days and times and having them pre-bagged, and then when they show up, they roll up to Lake Michigan College. We ask for their name or organization. We run back in, and then we come back out with a bag and say, "Here you go."
That's great.
So it's a little bit of planning. We're trying to do the best we can with the stay-at-home order. So we only try to have one person in the lab at any one time. So I try to do a lot of the coordinating from home, from my office here, and then run up once a week or twice a week to help bag up, and then we have one tech that works during the week and one tech that works in the weekends, and they do production for us. So, if you're following us on Facebook, you've seen pictures of them doing that on our Facebook page, and then we just try to bag everything up and then hand it out one at a time as we can.
Great. Yeah. So what's the name of the Facebook page?
It's the Fab Lab at Lake Michigan College.
Okay, great. And
And
then do you
actually,
have,
I think the original or the official title is LMC Fab Lab. So if you just go to facebook.com/LMC Fab Lab, you'll be able to follow us.
awesome. And then that would also be where they would find information about classes and camps and things like that into
Yep,
the future
classes,
once those are
workshops.
active?
Yep, all of that is available on there. And once we are able to open back up to the public, we are going to run it a little bit differently until the summer camps start and things go back to a somewhat normal pace. We're going to, instead of having an open lab or a community lab, we're going to offer like a 2.5 to 3 hour time window for 4 people to come in. They pay one price, and then there are 2 projects, and they can do however many that they can during the time allotted, and they can do like one or they can do both of the projects. So we might, for example, have something that's laser cutting, and then we also might have the wood turning of the pen. But they'll be able to do both of those for one price, but there's only going to be 4 people in the lab at any one time.
Okay, great. And then
Just kind of helps with social distancing and everything. Sorry.
sure, yeah. And then memberships will obviously become active again at some point once
Yes.
we're able to do that again.
Yep. Once we're able to get going again, and then we'll just have some open lab times where people can come in and utilize the space and utilize the equipment as we have intended for it to happen.
Great. Yeah, and then I guess the rest of the Hanson Technology Center, people might or might not know what's there, but you have just like full manufacturing
Yeah,
training
there's
capabilities there too, right?
There's 4 labs actually there. There's the Fab Lab, which is open to the community, but the other labs are not. Those are only open to students. But the other labs that are available, there's a machine shop, there's a welding lab, and then there's also, we call it Advanced Manufacturing 1, which has got a robotics, mechatronics, and electricity all in there. PLCs in there, hydraulics, pneumatics, all of that's located in that lab. It's pretty versatile, actually.
Yeah, that's a really neat building. It's always fun to walk through, and the whole building it's just like giant glass walls, so you can see what's going on in there from the lobby or from the classrooms, wherever you might be. So
Yeah, and both of our techs, ones are actually both of them are graduates now
oh,
from our program. So if you wanted to get a tour of the lab, we've been more than happy to, or a tour of the building. We're more than happy to do that for you as well.
cool. Well, I can't wait until people can come and do that again, and I hope that people come and
Neither
sign
can
up for
we.
those classes or a membership if they have some ideas of projects that they want to accomplish. So looking forward to that down the road. And thank you so much for everything that you and the techs and your team there are doing in the meantime to help the community. So
No problem. Thank you for having
thank
us.
you.
We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. All right, stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.